All right, let's try this again. Hello, gamers. Your ears are in the right place. You're listening to I Never Cast for This, episode 6, and we are a podcast dedicated to bringing forth discussions on controversial gaming topics and hopefully putting them to rest. But before we do that, before we delve deep into the awesome discussion, let me introduce who we have here with us this week. Returning from every other week that we've done the podcast. We just can't seem to get rid of him. This is Trelard. How's it going, Trelard?
Oh, it's going good.
I was only kidding, but you're welcome here anytime.
Oh, okay. You're forgiven.
Thank you. So welcome back once again. And also returning for the 4th or 5th time, I think now, is Arebus. How's it going, Arebus?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for showing up today.
No problem.
And newcomer on the podcast, and we'd love to have him here, so thank you very much for coming. We have Emtu. What's up, man?
Hey, nothing much. Glad to be on.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks so much for being here, and that's all of us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all later. No. So, how's everyone doing today? Let's start with you, Trailer. What's new in your life?
Well, college just started back up, so that's going to take up a bit of time. As far as what I've been doing, well, again, looking after the pup. This past week or so, I've been playing Star Trek Online, and over the weekend, I decided to replay Mafia 3.
Nice.
So, and complete it. So, yeah. Not much happening on my end, so just more busy prepping for school than anything else.
Yeah. That's good, though. It's good to get in a routine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. And Arebus, what's new in your life?
Well, it's my computer is on the fritz. My graphics card or my power supply has fried, so I'm doing some troubleshooting by buying a 1080 Ti and seeing if that fixes it.
Just find a nice simple fix with a ridiculously expensive graphics card.
Yeah. And as soon as I get the 1080 Ti set up, I think that's going to motivate me to play some games. And one that's really interested me that I was watching a couple let's plays was the Batman Arkham Asylum series, specifically Arkham Knight. Looked really, really good. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to probably try to give those a go on the new graphics card once everything's set.
Nice. Yeah, that's on my backlog.
Yeah, those are really good games.
Yeah, I'd really like to play those. And M2, what's tell us about yourself.
So, 27-year-old PC gamer. I started PC gaming probably when I was like maybe 6 years old. First game I ever played, I remember it very vividly, was Wolfenstein 3D. It was at one of my father's office parties. Someone sat me down in front of like a 386 or something and fired up this game, and I had no idea what was going on in it, but I just loved it.
At 6 years old?
Yeah, I was like 6 or 7 years old. I was very. I was probably a bit too young to be playing that, but I thought it was the greatest thing. So I started out playing a lot of real, like all the classic PC games, Mech Warrior, Earth Siege, SimCity 2000, all that kind of stuff. Duke Nukem 3D and stuff. And I got an Xbox, actually, original Xbox, and I kind of transitioned into a console gamer for a little while. It was when the Xbox was first released, the original one.
Dark times.
Well, I loved it. I mean, at the time, there wasn't really a whole lot that PC was doing that really kind of stood against what Xbox had. Like, biggest one was Halo. PC had nothing like that. Yeah, you got Half-Life, you got Deus Ex, but like Halo was.
Yeah, Halo was nuts. Still is. Still holds up.
It does. Yeah, the original one for sure. So I guess from there, probably up until like 2005 or something, I transitioned back to PC gaming. Maybe 2004 or something. I remember Half-Life 2 came out, and that was the hot thing, and I really, really wanted to play Half-Life 2. So I got a Radeon 9800, and from there just.
I love how you remember all the old specs for all the old cards. That's insane.
I was eyeing that card like crazy because originally I got an X700. It turned out it was PCIe, and the computer at the time that I had was AGP. So we brought it back and got a 9800, 9800 Pro actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my. Well, that's pretty awesome. So clearly you know your tech stuff.
Yeah. So I'm a system administrator by trade. So I work with computers every day. I love computers. It's just what I do.
Nice. Yeah. Before the stream started, Emtu was helping Arebus with his busted computer and trying to troubleshoot a few things. So it was pretty.
Yeah. Now I'm now thinking that I just wasted $1,000.
Well, a 1080 Ti won't go to waste.
No, it'll just sit on my floor until I get a power supply. If M2's suspicions are correct.
Yeah. For sure.
Hopefully I'm wrong, and then you can 1080 Ti will work no problem.
There you go.
Definitely. Let's move into the gaming news, shall we? Speaking of graphics cards, M2, what's you had some news that you brought to our attention just before the podcast started. So what's happening with graphics cards? Yeah,
so I'm sure as any hardcore PC gamer knows, especially if they're in the market to upgrade a video card right now, there are none. The RX Vegas and the 580s, there's none of them. The 1070s as well, they're either super expensive or they're just gone. All the crypto miners are just eating them up. So AMD has acknowledged this, and apparently they're going to be switching over their manufacturing. So that they currently use Global Foundries for their Ryzen chips and their current Vega chips, but they're going to be switching that over apparently, and they promise there's going to be more stock, I'm sure. All right. But the shortage has actually led to retailers taking some pretty extreme stances on people buying multiple cards. So right now, Micro Center is sort of doing something a little crazy. So Micro Center is a retailer based in the United States, and they are saying you buy one GPU, you pay $349 a piece. You buy two GPUs, you pay $349 a piece. You buy three GPUs, you pay $10,000 each. So, to supposedly nip this in the bud. I don't know if that's going to work or if that's just crazy.
I personally think that's a good idea. Just so finally, hopefully that would make the stock go down, or make the price go down, I should say, overall. But right now the prices of cards. What did you pay for yours, Arebus?
I paid $890 or whatever it was. It was right. It was right below $900, but it was the first time that specific card had gone below $900 in its history. So
if
typically
if
you're spending
all this crypto mining wasn't happening, would the card be that expensive anyway?
I don't think the crypto mining, M2 can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the cryptic mining was affecting the TIs and the 1080s. These 1070s and 1060s, I know the price changed drastically on those pretty quickly, but I don't know if the 1080 and 1080 TIs were affected.
Yeah, that's correct. The performance per watt for the like computing the hashes and stuff just didn't make sense for the 1080 Ti's. Same with the 980 Ti's, and even I think the 980s and the 1080s, just the stock ones weren't, or just the base level ones weren't affected too much by the pricing. It was anything a little lower than that, it was just in reach, and the price for performance was right there. So.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. But anyways, hopefully that's good news with the $10,000 cards. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous, but I see what they're trying to do. Anything else with that specifically?
Well, I guess the thing about $10,000 video cards is these are people that were flying like 747s full of video cards or something crazy like that. So yeah. I really don't know how much that's going to affect it, especially when I'm sure another retailer is going, "Oh, no, please buy them all up. These are great." So, I mean, who knows? I guess we'll see if we'll see what happens in the future. But we're in kind of computer bizarro land right now because like RX 580s, they used to be like under $300, and now they're like crazy. You look on eBay, they're going for like $600. This is the only time in history that computer parts are more expensive as they grow older. What's up with that? This has never happened before.
Yeah. Very bizarre indeed. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. So yeah, moving on from that craziness, there's PewDiePie is back on the basically the front page of the internet. So Trelard, what did PewDiePie do wrong?
Well, just a reminder what he did previously. He was dropped back in February by Disney for paying two people to go out in public with a sign that said "Death to all Jews." And then yesterday, he decided that in front of a live audience, as he was streaming PUBG, that he would call someone the N-word. I honestly think that he knew right away that he had screwed up big time for this, because the first thing he said after it was, "I don't mean that in a bad way." Which is like, okay, well, what way did you mean it? But there is a bit of fallout for that directly for him. Just specifically the creators of Firewatch, the devs, Campo Santo, have decided to put DMCAs on all of his YouTube videos for their game Firewatch. There's people complaining. There's people saying, "Well, what about freedom of speech?" But the devs have countered that by saying, "Well, he's making money from content that we made. He's getting ad revenue. So if he's getting ad revenue from content that we made, that would be just like us endorsing him." So they're pulling all support by using the DMCA to get the videos dropped from YouTube, so he doesn't make any more money from them. The other fallout, creators on YouTube are worried that there is going to be a fallout for this, and they're worried as to what way this will come about and how it'll affect their own ad revenue. As you know, YouTube ad revenue was affected because of YouTube running ads beside videos depicting terrorist acts. So they clamped down a lot on what videos get ads revenue generating.
Yeah.
So they're worried that it's going to affect their bottom line, and overall it could affect the output from some of the creators who are actually good at what they do.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I know a lot of people on YouTube are getting flagged. Even if you have like one single bad word, you can get flagged. And some people, even without any bad words, are just getting flagged for reasons that they're not even sure of, which is pretty crazy for people that use YouTube as their primary source of income.
Because, I mean, like, PewDiePie's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
So, for one, he should know better. But, yeah, I think this one... the big thing about PewDiePie is a lot of his fans are pre-pubescent or early teens.
Yeah. Which makes it even worse. So if
Yeah.
he's going around saying stuff like that and his main audience is people those ages, that's pretty ridiculous, in my opinion.
Totally.
You guys have an opinion on that, Erebus or M2?
Well, I think it's more of an issue that I don't agree that the developer uses DMCA for something like that, only because that's really for, I mean, that's if their copyright is being violated by something, right? So I think it should be up to YouTube to give this guy the boot, to be honest. I mean, for example, if he was to go to a Toyota dealership, buy a Toyota, and write on the side of it, "Kill the Jews" or whatever, the Toyota dealership probably isn't going to say when he comes back the next day to buy another car, "Oh no, we're not selling you that." He could just go to another one. Toyota is not going to say, "Oh, we banned PewDiePie from buying our cars."
Yeah.
And it's sort of the same thing with the developer, whether or not they should be involved in that. Now, on the other hand, I can see why, because he's essentially promoting their material, and they don't want him using hate to promote their material.
Yeah.
I think it's a touchy subject because this kind of thing hasn't really existed before. People don't have this kind of multimedia platform like Twitch and YouTube and whatnot. And we're kind of experiencing a new era of how media is created and consumed. So I think it could be interesting to see how this plays out. As far as who takes a stand against it, is it going to be the people hosting the content, Google and YouTube, or the people whose content is involved, being the game developer?
Yeah, those are some good points for sure. Definitely. Anything Arebus, or gonna pass on this?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could talk about it for a long time. I think he. I don't know who, with respect to the PewDiePie situation, like the argument would be, was it really bad what he said from a perspective of, is because it's PewDiePie, does he have a responsibility in terms of what he's saying, and do the YouTube people and all those different people that host his stuff, do they have any type of responsibility to make a stand here in terms of what he's saying? Or because he lost his Disney stuff and all the the different things he was holding on to from that perspective that involved, I don't know, representing himself to kids and all that stuff, and being on a higher morality or whatever the word is. Yes, what he said was racist, but I've heard it a million times on streams. I've heard it a million times in, without this much backlash. It's just because he's the number one guy. And I think if you watch the clip, he said it he didn't say it in a derogatory way from a like, he didn't go out and, he yelled it when he shot somebody or his teammate got killed, and he just yelled it as a expletive type thing, right? Is it right? No, absolutely not. It's not right to say, but I've heard a lot worse and heard way less backlash for this. I think it's just because of the platform that he's on and his popularity.
Well, I think you also have to look at how many viewers he actually has.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a streamer that has, like a dozen maybe viewers on a regular basis. He has thousands upon thousands of viewers at any one time. So does that make the streamer carry a responsibility because of that? Is that like, because you have that many viewers, you're a role model to everybody else, and you need to be held to a higher standard? Is that no. Maybe that is what it is, but he was caught specifically because he had so many viewers. If it had been somebody with a dozen, that might have gone unnoticed.
Yeah, but the thing is, with a dozen viewers, even if it was noticed, nothing would have happened. That's the thing. If it was a no-name streamer or a no-name YouTuber,
I guess it's the same kind of thing about like someone who's in politics or someone who's really famous. If they say something that's slightly off color, they get in huge trouble for it. Whereas if an everyday Joe on the street or an employee at like a fast food chain or says something really bad, it doesn't have nearly the same weight as someone who is famous that would say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's I won't name names because I don't want to out people, but when I used to stream Brawlhalla, there was one guy in particular I remember used to use the N-word all the time, and he was one of the number one Brawlhalla streamers at the time. He had 200, 300 viewers at a time. Yes, not to the level of PewDiePie and those guys, but for the game, if anyone that was interested in Brawlhalla, that was the stream. He's still streaming today. Still, and he drops that word all the time. So it does go, like, I guess to Trelard's point, it goes unnoticed to a degree. I think people are noticing it. I think it just doesn't get the reporting that something like this does. And keep in mind, everybody is out to get PewDiePie is the number one guy. He is the guy, right? So when he has a slip up, everybody will hear about. Yes, the death to all Jews and all that crap that he was doing is pretty insane. But again, he is everything he does, no matter what it is, he's going to get put out on a lynch or whatever the word is.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
That could be a whole other separate topic on its own.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess we'll leave that for now. Nintendo VR, is it a thing, M2? Is it going to be a thing?
So, Reggie, the guy from Nintendo America, My Body is Ready guy, he went as far as to say that there are no truly fun games on VR, and that Nintendo wouldn't be pursuing VR. Now, I suppose that could be debated if there are fun games on VR. I don't know. I don't have a VR headset. What I do know is that Nintendo's hardware can't do VR. I mean, no matter what, it's not like it's an option for them. If they did do VR, it would be very good. So, I mean, I don't know. I think if Nintendo did get into VR or something, well, they already have. I'm sure some people might remember the Virtual Boy.
When did that come? I don't. To be honest, I don't really remember it. I remember the name, but I don't remember anything about it.
It was in red, right? Everything was like in red. Yeah.
Was it like early 90s?
I believe it was early 90s.
It wasn't early. Well, no, because I had it. It was mid 90s, I would say, because I had it in like grade 4, grade 5. There was people in our class that had it.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I must have missed the boat on that, but I don't remember anything about it, to be honest. I remember the name, but I don't remember anything specifically.
I remember it hurt my eyes tremendously to play it.
Yeah, strain was a big complaint back at the time.
No, my. So, as far as we know, Nintendo VR is not. Maybe I don't know about ever going to happen, but probably not in the foreseeable future.
I'm surprised they're talking about it. I didn't even realize that was a thing because, like Emtu said, it's like their hardware sucks.
Like VR takes a very powerful system to implement it. So yeah, the Switch is like maybe the same power as an Xbox One.
Yeah, I think they should just do what they know and stay with that.
And yeah, go ahead.
Did you just say that it was equivalent to the Xbox One?
I think it's about the same, if not slightly better, isn't it? The Switch.
Xbox One.
Yeah, not like isn't it? Maybe it's slightly under.
No, the specs would be far less.
Oh, I didn't think it was that far less though.
You sure about that, Willie? I didn't think so.
Pretty sure it's pretty close.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I thought it was like the equivalent to current gen, but that was the problem because it came out like 4 years late.
No, I think it's underpowered.
Well, okay.
That'll be an argument for another day.
But yeah, like the fact that they're saying there's no good Nintendo or there's no good VR games, and that's why they're not making any. Like, go out and make a good game, Nintendo.
I think a lot of people would disagree that there's no good VR games as well. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's a case of sour grapes. I think our hardware can't handle it, so it sucks.
And I'm the same as you. Like, I haven't actually tried VR myself, so I can't really argue on the subject. But I've heard there's lots of good games that are in VR that, like, I shouldn't say lots, but there are. Like, I've heard Resident Evil is like fantastic in VR. It's like very, very scary. So
that would be a good game in VR.
Yeah,
very good game actually.
Yeah. And to almost end off our news, Rainbow Six Siege had a massive update. Is that right, M2?
Yep. The Blood Orchid patch came out. They fixed a ton of stuff. I think they boasted something like 1,300 bugs were fixed or something, which, I mean, it's Ubisoft, so I believe it. I mean, it's a good game, but it's got some issues. Biggest thing that I saw, they fixed the lighting. A lot of the times, if you're looking out a window or something, it would appear like bright white. You wouldn't be able to see stuff. The skybox models, they added new operators. So I guess we'll see. It's a pretty hefty patch. I think it's something like 20 gigs or it's 20 gigs for the standard textures and like 40 gigs for the full HD textures, something like that. Like, so they've improved the character models and everything. And I know that a lot of the operators in game, they looked real dopey. The models didn't really look that good, but apparently they've fixed all that. I don't know. It's Ubisoft, so they fixed 1,300 bugs and they introduced 1,500 more. Who knows? I have no idea.
Well, let's be honest. That's likely. So, yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to check that out. I enjoyed Siege, I gotta say. All right, and the big news in the gaming industry, I guess, and it kind of leads into our topic, actually. Destiny 2 was released last Wednesday, September 6th, I believe.
Yep.
Yes, for those listening, today is Monday, September 11th. Yeah, so that was released last week. It's actually gotten pretty good reviews. It's apparently improved a lot on Destiny 1. It's very similar to Destiny 1, but just improved almost in every aspect from what I can gather. So it's out on console. It's out on both Xbox One and PS4. However, the game is not currently out on PC. So the game for PC is actually going to be released on, October 24th. So are you guys planning to get Destiny 2, or do you already own Destiny 2 on console?
I've pre-ordered it for PC. I just pre-ordered it over the weekend, so I'm geared up, ready for it.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting it for PC, and I was the biggest Destiny 1 hater. Probably everybody.
Yeah, but
I'm a little afraid of these sort of big console titles when they come to PC. I don't know. It looks interesting, but I'm afraid of the consoleized experience, like auto aim and stuff like that. But I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, I wonder if the PC one has any auto aim attached.
I don't think it does.
No, probably not.
Yeah, that's good. But
and it also doesn't run at 30 FPS, which will be awesome.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So. Yeah, well, that's basically the news in a nutshell. All the things we mentioned, plus Destiny 2 being released. But what we want to talk about today is delayed PC releases. So yeah, let's get into the topic of the week. So delayed PC releases. The biggest one that I can think of in recent memory, other than Destiny 2, is Grand Theft Auto 5. Did you guys play much Grand Theft Auto 5 when it first came out?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was initially released on September 17th, 2013, which is it's crazy it's actually been out that long, and it's still selling really well. It's like one of the best-selling games on Steam right now. But yeah, so it came out in September 17th, 2013, only on last-gen consoles. And now at the time, there were only last-gen consoles available. Xbox One, I believe, released in 2014, and PlayStation 4 as well. So the only option at the time would have been either last-gen consoles, Xbox 360/PS3, or PC. However, it was only released on those consoles. And it wasn't until November 18th, 2014 that it was released on next-gen consoles, being the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And then PC wasn't released on PC until April 14th, 2015. So that's almost, 5 months after that? So... yeah. They had 3 separate release dates for the same game. So, first of all, do you guys have any opinions on that alone? Do you think it's kind of ridiculous to have 3 separate release dates for one game? Anyone want to take that?
Well, for me, it would depend on why it was delayed. Could they have released the PC version earlier? I don't know. Probably, but they did add a lot of stuff to the PC version that above and beyond what the current gen consoles have. So, saying that extra time because as far as I know, it was actually delayed as well on the PC by a few months after the original release date for it. Because they wanted to polish it up and they wanted to make it pretty much the definitive version of the game out of any format. You know what I mean? As far as graphics and as far as gameplay itself went. Instead of it focusing on a controller-based control scheme, they actually went in and they changed quite a bit of the game itself so that it would operate more smoothly with a mouse and keyboard.
Okay. That's good. Do you guys have any opinions on this?
Well, I guess probably, I think the capitalist in me is saying this game is like the most popular game in the world. It's one of the most popular games in the world, and it sells consoles. If it's only on consoles, people are going to buy consoles. So I can see it from a point where Rockstar is getting pressure from Sony and Microsoft to sort of just withhold it just a little while from PC. After all, it does kind of have this stigma of being a bit of a piracy platform. I mean, just get that out of the way because it's true to an extent.
Yeah.
So, and I don't blame them. I mean, they're a company, right? They want to make money. And if Microsoft and Sony are basically, I'm just speculating here. I don't know if they have any sort of exclusive deal to withhold it for a while or what. But I can see that there probably would be pressure to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never really thought of that. Of Microsoft and Sony actually, I don't know if begging is the right word, but really enticing Rockstar to keep it on their platform and separate from PC. So, yeah. The issue I was or Erebus, did you have something you want to add, or?
Mine was, yeah, I had the same exact opinion of Emtu there. That I think the various console exclusives, like GTA, Destiny, whatever it is, like they sell consoles. They especially, and sometimes games. I think in Destiny's case, I think it's targeted towards. I think Sony gets some extra exclusives. Like I think it's the PlayStation for whatever reason is overwhelmingly higher Destiny players than Xbox, and I can't remember why that is. But they're getting
like extra maps and like extra.
Yeah, so they have. I would be pretty damn sure that Sony is influencing some pressure here to these exclusive, like for these products to try to keep them from releasing them on PC. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah. But there's also a lot of people who just don't own consoles, and it would sell a lot more. I don't know. It's hard to say because that's kind of the argument that we'll get into. But the main issue I had with Grand Theft Auto specifically is that when the game first came out in September of 2013 on last-gen consoles, the game was being advertised on commercials with the next-gen graphics. So I personally had an issue with that at the time because you would see the commercials and be like, man, these graphics are intense. And you get the game on Xbox 360 or PlayStation, and it looks terrible. Not terrible, I shouldn't say terrible, but it doesn't look nearly as good as it's being advertised. So is that like shady at all, or do you think they should try and show the best possible version of the game, even if it's not exactly what you're getting? What do you guys think?
I think the same thing as what Emtu said before as well. They're in it to make money, and if they can get away with that type of advertising and it's influencing people, is it ethical? Probably not. But there's lots of trailers for video games that don't even show gameplay, and they just get people super hyped, or they're fake gameplay trailers. I've seen those before, where the graphics are artificially enhanced. That to even at these E3 demos that we see, like a lot of the time when they're playing these E3 games, they have the graphics enhanced on rigs that are not what the game is actually going to end up running on, or it's completely false advertising. I remember when we watched Halo 2, the first was it Halo 2? That demo
it was for Halo 2, yeah.
Yeah, and they showed all this stuff in Halo 2 that ended up not even going into the game, and it wasn't even like a real map on the thing. So I think companies are going to do that. I have an issue with it too, but I think it exists everywhere in all types of media.
Yeah, it's all marketing.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel the same way about that, Trelard and Emtu?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the same thing happened with Watch Dogs. That was a pretty big one. In fact, there's been rumors just recently, actually, that they throttled back the graphics on the PC version compared to the version that they showed at E3 when they first announced it. They throttled it back so Sony and Microsoft wouldn't be too upset at them for releasing a far superior version for PC. Apparently, there was code in code that had been left but not utilized within the game's code that would have accessed certain parts of the game, like graphics-wise, that would have put all of these effects and just a better look at overall game. So I mean, it's all about money. There's no two ways about it.
So they purposely dumbed down their game.
Yep.
Seems a little ridiculous. If I was a developer, I'd be pretty upset. Not upset, but be like, come on, we want to put out our best possible product, and you're making us make a stupid game.
Yeah.
But, yeah. For sure. Yeah, MCU, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I think it's a reality of the state of the games industry currently. I mean, it's funny that Arebus did bring up Halo 2, because I remember that quite well when that first sort of teaser thing was released, where it showed Master Chief going out of the ship with the bomb and stuff and flying down to the Covenant ships and stuff, and then you see it in game in the actual game, and it really didn't look nearly as good.
No.
Textures were popping in and stuff, and I mean at the time they probably did have a legitimate excuse for that. They were trying to hype it, and it was probably being rendered on like a dev kit too, like something that wasn't quite an Xbox. Like it was still an Xbox, but it was a quite more beefy Xbox. It's very obvious from the design of Halo 2 that it was designed for a much more powerful system than the original Xbox. I think they had actually anticipated that the 360 was going to be released then, potentially. I don't know, just speculating. But as long as they keep getting away with it, like who's going to stop them? All games have done this. Like Battlefield 1 was doing it, and like they were showing stuff that looked way better than it does in game. And I mean, I think it's something that people just need to take now. And when they're watching these advertisements and they're seeing these, like the media online for these games, they need to realize, well, this isn't going to be what it looks like. This is kind of a fantastic idea of what it's going to look like, but it's really not going to look like that.
Yeah.
It might look close if you get it on PC or something and run it on Ultra. Yeah, it's probably going to look pretty close, but it's not going to look like that on the console. No way.
And I guess it's a good thing to kind of take throughout life, like no matter what you see through advertising, whether it's a movie trailer or anything, just take it all with a grain of salt, that it's probably not going to be what the final product will look like. So, yeah. And another point I wanted to make, feel free to, well, I'm just opening it up. So with delayed releases, like, do you think that if you buy a game on one platform, for example, if you bought Grand Theft Auto on the Xbox 360, should you be entitled to a free or at least discounted version of that game, of Grand Theft Auto 5, on other platforms as they're released?
I think I don't think so. I don't think entitled. I don't think. Yeah, you can't use the word entitled. Would it be nice? Sure, but I don't think entitled is how it works. What we look at here is the Microsoft series right now. Microsoft is taking kind of a bold approach with their cross-platform games. So like Forza Horizons. I think they made a commitment that all the Microsoft games going forward, the ones that are made by Microsoft, will actually be able to be played on PC. You can play with your friends on Xbox. You'll be able to play the Xbox version, the PC version. You just have to buy one copy of the game, and you can play it wherever you want. And I've done that with Forza and a couple of other games. However, I think for games like GTA, Destiny, games that are massive, massive hits, I think from a money-making point of view, the company would be incredibly stupid to do. I don't think it's going to make them sell more copies. Getting into Destiny, just because that's what we were talking about, and I've been doing a lot of research on this because Destiny is what I'm really excited about. All through the Reddit, the Destiny Reddit has 400,000 or 500,000 people on the Reddit, and all of these people were posting saying they broke. And what they meant by that was they're all PC gamers. They were all posting pictures of because of course PS4 released a Destiny bundle where you could buy a PS4 Pro or PS4 or whatever, and comes with Destiny and all that stuff. And all these people said they were literally going to buy PS4s and Destiny just because they couldn't wait. They didn't want the game to be spoiled. They wanted to be among the first people. And then they were just going to sell their PS4s and sell their copy of Destiny when the PC version came out and cut their losses. Like that, and a whole whack load of people. I don't know what the statistics are, but a lot of people did that. And I would say that companies like Bungie are pretty aware of this kind of stuff in terms of that they're able to sell multiple copies of their game and that they would be taking a loss, because I think a lot of people do that where they'll buy the console version. I, to be honest myself, I have an Xbox sitting out there, and I was half convinced to just buy Destiny just to play it leading up to the release of the PC version, just so I'd understand the game and kind of be ahead of everybody else when I started. But
it seems a bit drastic buying an entire console and the game just to return it like a month later.
I think no, like people are like, because the thing is, like, Destiny is a game that like people are like if it doesn't work for every game, but like Grand Theft Auto 4, Destiny, big games like that, I think are different. What I'm going to be interested in is in the next Halo game. If the next Halo game is going to be cross-platform, I think it is, because I think that was their commitment. Is that made by Microsoft? I don't need.
Microsoft owns the Halo brand. They used to own Bungie, and then Bungie split off, but they still own the Halo brand, I believe.
Right.
The only problem is making competitive Halo with people using mouse and keyboard. That just kind of throws out the competitive scene.
Fair enough, but that's what I mean. I think you will see something where the Halo thing doesn't apply to this thing, and I think that is because they know they're going to sell multiple copies. I think I really like, just everything's driven by profit, everything's driven by capitalism. I think if they can find a way to sell multiple copies, but you can look it up, man. Like there's tons of people doing this, buying the console versions, and just because they don't want to get spoiled with the game, or if you're that addicted to a game, people pull some pretty drastic stuff.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Because I was going to argue against that by saying, like, well, for Grand Theft Auto, like, I bought the game on Xbox 360, and the game came out a year later on next gen. So I didn't end up doing it, but I wouldn't have had a problem buying the game again for the next gen. However, Destiny came out September 6th on consoles, and I only had to wait about a month and a half for it to come out on PC. So there's no way, me personally, that I would buy it on console and then buy it again on PC. But if it was spaced out a year, then yeah, I probably would play it on console first and then buy it again.
Yeah,
for
if
PC.
If it was spaced out longer, fine. But essentially, the PC version, you're going from, like, even just looking at Destiny. Destiny is running at maximum, I think, 1080p. I think at 30 FPS, maybe I don't know if it goes 4K or if it's upscaled or whatever it is. But on PC, it goes up to, it's uncapped FPS. It's way different from a technological perspective in terms of the potential it can run. So it's basically like a remastered game. So I know that there's games that we've bought millions of times that, because it's a remastered game, a reskin game, an upgraded version of the game. So I think people are willing to do that. Now, yes, this is only a month apart, but I think it just feels, if people are addicted enough to the game, they're gonna buy both copies. And I think by having a delayed PC release as well, if they're confident enough in their product, they're just developing more hype for the game. Because if all these PC gamers are hearing about how great Destiny is, and all these console gamers are playing it and seeing how amazing it is, it's the number one stream game, or up close to the number one stream game on Twitch right now. It's just generating hype, more hype, more hype, more hype. And especially if they're confident in their game, people are seeing there's actually longevity to the game. I think it does nothing but bolster their PC sales when they first launch.
Yeah. So you're saying having a delayed release does nothing but benefit the game as a whole, rather than release both the PC and the console at the same time?
I think, well, now, if the game is crap, it's a risky thing, right? Like, it's from a capitalism perspective, I think it has huge potential for companies. But I think if the game is crap, then you're opening yourself up. Because if you have a console release first for a month or two, and then have the PC release, and the game is getting terrible reviews, it's not under NDA, there's nothing like that going on, and then the game is just horrible, well, then you've just really hurt your PC sales, right? So, whereas if you had it all at the same time. So it depends, but I think if you're confident in the game, and I think it's a benefit to the PC consumer. Yes, it's delayed. It sucks that we have to wait a month to play it, but we can at least see if the game's actually good.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Trelard, what do you? I've seen you nodding a bunch of times over there. What do you have to add?
Well, just for the fact that I'm going back to the whole Grand Theft Auto 5 thing. I actually bought GTA 5 for the PS3 on the night it was released. I was there for the midnight release for it. I bought the collector's edition.
Which is what you're looking at right
I traded it in. I traded the game back in eventually. But I did get the PC version when it was released, and they did allow me to transfer any stuff from the collector's edition that I got for the PS3 over to the version that I had on the PC. So I got to keep all that stuff, so it was a nice wee bonus for me. As for why it was held back, I don't know. It was an overall better game, I think, than on the consoles. But I think that it probably could have been released sooner. With Destiny, though, it's a whole different monster. It's only a month, pretty much month and a half difference. So we're not going to need to worry too much about, we don't need to be worried about jumping the gun and buying the console version while we're waiting for the PC version, because most of us are, we're pretty much hardcore gamers, but not to any one particular franchise. So we can afford to sit back and look at the reviews and just generally keep away from any spot like Reddit or whatever that is going to focus only on that game, just to avoid potential spoilers or things like that. So that's, I don't know. It's for me, I think it was the right move to do it with Destiny 2 because of all those upgrades that Arebus has mentioned, the frame rate and whatnot.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I remember you were telling me before the podcast started as well that Rockstar actually refused to comment at the time of GTA 5's release if the game was actually going to be coming to PC at all.
Yeah, that was a big one. There was rumors, but there's always rumors like that. There was rumors about Red Dead Redemption, about it coming to PC. Of course, that never happened. And even now, there's rumors that the sequel to Red Dead Redemption is going to be on PC, but again, there has been no official word on that.
Right.
But I feel that there was a better than average chance that GTA 5 was going to release on PC specifically because, well, every other version of GTA has been released on PC.
Right.
Except for the store, like the Vice City Stories and things like that. Mm-hmm. Those were like handhelds only.
Right. But
yeah, for the main parts of the franchise, they've always been released on PC. So, like I said, it was a better than average chance that it would have been.
Yeah.
But the fact that they refused to mention it at all, and for a long period of time, was a wee bit disturbing.
Yeah. That's definitely sketchy from an advertising perspective. But again, it makes sense for them if they kind of hold that back from consumers. Then they'll be like, well, I'll just buy it on console just in case it doesn't come out on PC, and then sure enough, it does. But like you said, Red Dead didn't come out on PC, so I guess they didn't. That's just the risk you got to take, I suppose.
I don't think now to the PC release point. I don't think legit Destiny 2 is delayed till October 24th because because it wasn't ready. I don't believe that. Like their quote at E3 was, "The honest truth is we want it to land super solid." I'm reading. "The honest truth is we want it to land super solid. We want to meet the expectation of PC gamers. They have expectations for what they want, and we want to make sure we hit as many of those as we can." To me, that's marketing jargon to just really appease to the PC gamer community. I think the game was ready and could have been launched on September 6th. I think this is all marketing hype, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's likely, and I guess we'll probably never know definitively.
Oh well, we can't know for sure, but I
wouldn't.
Like, it's just the fact that the dates are so close together.
Yeah. Emtu, what have you've been quiet there for a while? What do you have to add to this?
So I think that whether or not a game should be able, so if you purchase a game on Xbox, if you should be able to have it on PC or PlayStation or whatever, I think the company can charge what they want. They can do what they want. However, potentially from a perspective of in-game content and your character and your loot, should that be able to move over as well? If you were to buy Destiny on PC, does your character on the Xbox, is he now playable on PC? Should that be something that needs to happen? Is that because I mean you're essentially not selling something that's superior. So the PC version, I can appreciate that they've probably put. I would think, in my opinion, they probably put more effort into certain things. While the Xbox is basically a PC when they're deving for it, they can't just simply rip it out and put it into a computer and it'll work. There is a bit of effort involved. But should the content that the player has accomplished, like if they've accumulated this loot, if they've leveled up this character, it doesn't matter for Destiny, it could be any game. Should that now be playable on multiple platforms if it's the exact same game? Should that be accessible to the player? I think that would be a better experience for them, but I don't know if that's something that companies should be doing or not.
Yeah, because that's something I thought about in the past too. Like, I can't think of anything top of my head, but there probably is a reason. Like, why do you think that character data wouldn't transfer over from console to PC? Like, is it because it's easier to play on a PC because there's auto aim, for example, so it wouldn't be fair to carry that loot over, for example, in a game like Destiny 2? Like, I don't know.
I don't think. Well, I think from a PVE perspective, like if there's PvP loot, then you could make that argument if you rank up to a certain degree on console and then move over to transfer all your stuff to PC and have an advantage over other players. Something that what I've read on the Reddit about Destiny is one of the refreshing things for people, I guess, is the fresh start on October 24th. Everybody's brand new. None of the Destiny 1 characters are transferring over, because all the Destiny 1 characters, if you guys didn't know, transferred over to Destiny 2. Not the loot, but like the character themselves, all the achievements you had on Destiny 1, the physical appearance of your character. Not to put spoilers in, it happens right away, but basically from the transfer of the Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, they show a story, a transfer of the story, and explain what happened to your main character. And
did you say that's console to console or
console to console, right?
But
you
PC.
can't do that. Not to PC, so you can't do that on PC. So something that some people like is it's a complete fresh start. Everybody's new. Everybody's brand new to the thing. If you were able to, I think we would all agree that it would be kind of stupid if you could play on, the console for a month and get some loot and then transfer that right over to PC for the launch of Destiny, because you could theoretically be a month ahead of all of your friends, or if there's people trying to get world first or realm first or whatever the phrase is in Destiny. It would kind of screw everything up if people are able to transfer stuff from the console. But I do agree with Emtu that I think it would be hugely advantageous if you could transfer. And I think it would actually encourage people to buy multiple copies of the game. Because I have a friend who wants to play with me on Xbox from my work. And if I was able to just transfer my stuff that I have on PC over to console when I would like to play with my friend on Xbox, and then when I'm playing with you guys on PC, I can just transfer back and forth. Even if it required me to have 2 copies of the game, I think that would be really good. I personally would buy 2 copies of the game if that was the case.
Which is essentially what the Xbox Play Anywhere feature is, where you can,
it is.
Forza Horizon 3, you can have files on both.
It is, but in that case, you only have to buy 1 copy of the game. What I'm saying is, I would as a consumer, I would buy 2 copies of the game to play with different sets of friends, if it meant I could keep the same character and use it in both areas.
Yeah. Hip Hop Bling in chat, he made a good point. He said it's to increase the switching costs so that people stay within the platform, which I understand. If Sony really wants, like, the amount of money in advertising they're sinking into Destiny 2, like giving promotional maps and extra, like just to entice people to stay on the platform, I see why they wouldn't want the cross-platform functionality to happen, but
I think like there's a lot of, and this is a whole other topic we could probably talk about in a different podcast, but there's a lot of resistance of tie-ins between PlayStation and Xbox, and I can't remember. There's one side that's more resistant to it than the other.
I think it's Sony.
Sony, yeah. And because I think Xbox was trying to encourage them to even be able to play online games from console to console, right? Like being able, like the online just to be seamless across all platforms, everything, so that there could just, if you had a friend on PS4 and I'm playing on Xbox, we could play together,
which would be awesome.
Right. So and the whole thing about transferring accounts and transferring characters, I think in the future that would be beneficial. I don't know the whole marketing side of it or the number side. If Sony's doing what they're doing and they're making more money by doing it, maybe they are. They have smarter people than us, obviously, that are looking at all this stuff. But I don't know.
Now the marketing side brings up an interesting point. Is that what happens if they decide to take the Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow route? And by that I mean items that are only available on PS4, on Xbox, on PC. Now suddenly it's, well, if you want all these items, if you want to be eligible to get these drops, you now need to play on multiple platforms. I don't agree with that. I don't know if there was crossplay. I think inevitably there's going to be a downside, and something like that, which isn't really good for the consumer, is going to happen. Now, it's not the company's job to be good to the consumer, but it helps. So,
yeah,
no, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's true because the PlayStation, I'm pretty sure, does have like 1 or 2 extra strikes, I think they're called, or certain types of maps. So yeah, that would definitely cause issues on if that was cross with PC or not. So what do you guys think? Is a delayed PC release ultimately just a huge cash grab, or do you think they're like do you think they're good for the gaming industry essentially, or do you think that everything should just be released, like delay the initial release of like Destiny 2, for example, until October 24th, so all of them are released on October 24th? Or do you think everything should be released at the same time, or do you think there's no issue at all with delayed PC releases? So Trelard, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I think what it all comes down to is the reasoning as to why the delays are happening. If it's purely to make a better product, then hey, go for it, knock yourself out. If it's because they're taking some backhanded money withdrawals from the various console companies out there, then that's where I have a real issue with it. Now, how to decide whether or not that's what's actually happening, or whether it is to make the game the best it possibly could be, there's really no way that we can tell, unless, of course, the game releases and it's, well, not very good, let's just say.
Yeah, and it's true. And like somebody said earlier, too, like, if the game is bad and they release it only, I think Arebus said it earlier, if the game is bad and it's released on console first, and then, yeah, they're going to lose a whole bunch of sales to people that would have bought it initially on PC. But then again, there's also been cases of games being great on the consoles, but just pure bovine excrement on on the PC. Like it has happened. That's true.
That was one of the Arkham games, right?
It was. I think it was Arkham Knight, actually. It was complete trash. Like, it just didn't run.
I enjoyed Arkham Knight. Like, I don't know what the big issue was. I didn't have any real issues with it.
Yeah. Well, I just know a lot of...
They were having to issue refunds, I think, because it wasn't running on people's computers.
Yeah, I think Dishonored 2 was the same way, actually. It was just not... It would just run like complete garbage on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really attest to anything because I never tried those games, but yeah. Well, I mean, I guess a good PC port example was Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Remember, like, there's like terrible glitches on the PC that still exist. Like, you're shooting a gun and the sound of the gun shooting doesn't go away even when you stop shooting, so it's really irritating. Yeah. Arebus, what's your opinion on the whole thing, dude? Delayed PC releases, should they stay or not?
I think delayed PC releases are good for if you're a patient gamer and you don't need something on the release day. I think it does nothing but good for you as a consumer, because you're able to see the game on the console and see how it plays out before you actually decide to make the purchase. For me, it sucks because I already know I want Destiny, and now I have to wait like a full month and a half before I can actually play it. But I think ultimately it's good for gaming. I think for me, I don't disagree with Trelard. But I think the whole why thing is kind of a moot point. Like we're not, unless it somehow leaks, we're not going to know why certain games are delayed. I think it's just ultimately up to you as the consumer whether you're willing to swallow that delay and put up with it. But I do think ultimately PC releases are okay for video gaming. I think it's I'm happy to wait and see how the games turn out.
Yeah, some good points. And last but not least, Emtu, what do you think?
I think it's an inevitable reality, only because of the fact that, let's face it, the PC is a niche market. With Xbox and PlayStation, developers are given kits, they're given documentation, they can very easily develop a game specifically for this hardware. With PC, they are given some of that to an extent. AMD and NVIDIA do have documentation for developing for their hardware. But as far as a simultaneous release, I can see it from a perspective where the company is going to want to push out its product to as many people as it can at once. And it can focus on two platforms that are well documented, they're pretty comfortable developing on, and they can get a product out really quick. And then once that product is out, okay, now let's release it for PC, which the company probably doesn't focus on and might not even know how to dev for. That's why in a lot of these cases, the PC port is a third party that's done it. So, I mean, while PC as a platform is very important for specific things and specific games, I don't know that that's really going to change anytime soon. That a game is released for consoles and then PC, and whether or not that's a bad thing, in some cases it can be good, because now you have a gigantic population that's basically beta testing it for PC. I mean, it's a pretty loose interpretation, but that's basically what's happening. And then the PC does end up getting the version that will do 144 hertz, and it's got ultra high graphics and whatnot. I think where the biggest disappointments came when console ports would come out for PC, and it doesn't support your SLI system that you just spent $2,000 on. Like, well, that's inevitable. It's going to happen. The devs just don't dev for that. So, I mean, I think to an extent it's okay, but we have to be real here. Like, the PC is good, but it just doesn't have the audience that PlayStation and Xbox do.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because the amount of, like, if you're a casual gamer, typically you're going to be on a console. A lot of people just like to get consoles just for the fact that there's no setup required. You just literally plug it in and put a game in and start playing. Where PC is generally, you need to, if you're a PC gamer that wants to play current games, then typically you're going to have at least some knowledge of how a computer works in order to get a higher end PC with good graphics card and all that stuff. So it's a lot more work that goes into it. But you're right, the amount of people that actually game are on, the majority of gamers are on consoles. So yeah, that's a good point to make for sure. As for me, like, I think it is, I kind of agree with Trelard in the sense, like, as the why perspective, like, yeah, they should, in my opinion, just release them all at the same time if the game is actually finished. But again, we'll probably never know if it is finished. So if the game is actually finished, yes, release it with everything else. But I understand also from the company's perspective that it is a business. They're trying to make money, so I understand why they want to delay it as well. So it can be frustrating for the consumer, but like Emtu was saying, it is a big beta test for us. So Destiny 2 will likely be very good on PC. Shouldn't be, or certainly shouldn't be any worse than the console version, which is certainly a benefit to us. Absolutely. Any other quick comments you guys want to add about that before moving on to some gaming deals?
I'd like to know the statistics of people that buy the console version of Destiny, are so obsessed with Destiny, and then get so hyped because the PC release is coming that they decide to get into PC gaming and buy a PC copy of Destiny.
Yeah.
I think by having that separation, I think that actually would, I bet you there's a certain number of people that would do that.
Yeah, probably.
Knowing it's the definitive edition.
And also, this kind of a separate thing, but there's a lot of people who are going to be playing Destiny 2 on PC, not just because it's on PC, but because it's on the Activision Blizzard launcher.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who literally only play World of Warcraft or only play StarCraft or Diablo, and they're going to see this game pop up there on that launcher, and they're simply going to try it just because it's somewhat associated with Blizzard or Activision.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's going to do nothing but help their sales.
Big time.
In other news, I can put the side doors on my PC because I just found the screws.
Hooray!
Or the door off for 3 days.
Nice. Oh my. And leading away from that, let's go to the gaming deals for the week. So, Trelard, what can we blow all our hard-earned money on this week?
Well, first of all, this is all going to be from Humble Bundle this week. The monthly early unlock is Rise of the Tomb Raider. If you haven't played it, it's an excellent game.
Great game.
And the monthly Humble Bundle is $12, and you get, I don't know, at least half a dozen games, at least, every month for that. I've been signed up for a few months now, and I've always gotten something in it that has surprised me, stuff that I mightn't have looked at if it was just on a regular sale or whatever. So I would definitely recommend possibly picking that up. And that's a good price for Rise of the Tomb Raider. on its own. Never mind the other games that you're going to get once those unlock. They unlock on the first Friday of every month. Other games that are on sale, that they actually have an end of summer sale going on right now. We have Stories Untold, which is part text adventure, part first person, part puzzle, lots of parts. It's got a good story. I enjoyed it. It's $4.49 at the minute. Another one I seen was Mafia 3 Deluxe, which also includes the season pass, which is going for $26.99. I totally recommend that. I was playing through to completion again over the weekend of Mafia 3, so it's definitely something that I personally would recommend. If you haven't tried it yet, South Park Stick of Truth is on sale as well for $6.74. If you like South Park and you like their form of humor and aren't too offended by pretty much anything, you're going to enjoy this. I enjoyed it for what it was. And finally, for $2.24, we have Genital Jousting. It's an early access game on Steam. It tells the story of, you know what I mean?
There's a story in this game?
Genitals while jousting.
Said there's a story in this game?
I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go along, to be honest. But it's $2.24, so even if the name, you know what I mean, piques your interest, it might be something for you to look into. And those are all Steam keys, by the way, so they're all available on Steam. So
that's a BioWare title, right?
Yeah.
Oh my.
But no, that's pretty much the deals that I have for this week.
Alrighty. And Erebus, what are the fidget spinner deals that you can find for us?
Hey man,
Arebus is playing with a fidget spinner as we speak, and I've yet to ask him where he got it. So where did you get it?
I got it from my birthday.
What?
30th birthday. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. How come I never saw it? I never saw it on your party.
For whatever reason, these are a hit at my work. Like everybody has them. Like people have New England Patriots fidget spinners, different sports teams. There's probably video game ones too.
I was hoping they would have been
really
died
good,
off
man.
by now.
Yeah. So when I'm sitting at my cubicle doing a phone interview or something with a candidate or whatever, I just sit here like this, just chill.
That one looks like it has pretty good spinning mechanisms.
Man, these things spin a long time. Like here, before you close the stream, I'll just go like this, and you can just do your close.
Wonderful with that terrible, awful noise in the background. Great.
It gets worse.
Oh my. Anyways, I think that'll do it for us. Yeah. This was fun today. If you want to email us some idea. Oh, speaking of, before I forget, Hip Hop Bling in chat, thank you so much for suggesting this topic to me. So I really appreciate that. It was a very good topic that we discussed today. It was actually his idea, so thank you. If any of you listeners have any other topics that you'd like for us to discuss on the show, don't hesitate to ask us. You can email us at inevercastforthis@gmail.com, whether you have a topic suggestion or if you just have a question for any of us that are on the podcast. Also, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at inevercastforthis. inevercast4, the number 4, this. We're also on facebook.com/inevercastforthis. And we're here on Twitch also every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can see all our beautiful faces here. And I hear a lot of random feedback. Okay. Oh, that's what that was. Okay. More fidget spinner shenanigans. Yeah, so we're here on twitch.tv/inevercastforthis. You can see all of our beautiful faces here. And also, if you love the podcast, leave us a lovely 5-star review on iTunes or on Facebook. We have some reviews, 5-star reviews there now. If you absolutely hate the podcast, leave us a 1-star review and let us know how we can improve. Yeah, we appreciate all feedback, both positive and negative. As for social media, I stream sometimes on twitch.tv/Keltharr. So feel free to watch me there sometimes. Anyone else have social media that people can follow them at?
No.
That's right. Trelard has no friends. Arebus, what about you?
Man, I got.
Okay.
On Twitch. I don't know what just happened there. Twitch.tv /Arebus. For some reason, when I said that on the last podcast, I got 3 followers. So I'll try it again. I haven't streamed since 2015. I haven't streamed since November 2015 or whatever it was, but I'm planning to when I get my TI set up and I.
When he reaches
we'll see if somebody out there that listens to this.
streaming.
If you're listening to this on your radio, just pull over and pull up your phone and twitch.tv /Arebus. And
I'll believe your stream again when it actually happens. But
well, I can't now. If I tried now, my computer would explode.
Oh my! And Emtu, do you have any social media like Twitter or anything like that people can follow you at?
I don't. I maybe might stream again at some point.
Yeah, you have Twitch. Yeah, what's your Twitch?
Twitch.tv /M2 So EMTU, the number 4, and then U. The
Cool.
letter U.
So as in Keltharr? No. Oh, U as in letter U. No. No, that's cool. So yes, M2 does stream sometimes. He has an awesome stream. The last time I saw you streaming was Quake Champions, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't doing very hot at it.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a shout out to Claudette Burton 00055. That's my latest follower.
I think that's a bot.
Oh my. Anything else you guys want to throw in before we shut her down?
No, I am good.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast. M2, thank you for making a wonderful first appearance. You did awesome, and we'd love to have you back sometime if you'd be interested.
That'd be great.
Yeah, awesome. And Arebus and Trelard, as always, thanks for helping support and do the show here. Much appreciated. That's an interesting wave you had. Thank you, Trelard. And thanks for your fidget spinning shenanigans, Arebus, as well.
No problem.
Yeah. And we will see you. What's the date next week? September 18th. So everything goes according to plan. We should be good to go 8:30 p.m. next week, September 18th. We will see you all next week. Take it easy, everyone. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Ciao.